Sign up to The Economist for in-depth curated expert analysis of world events and topics ranging from business and culture to science and technology. You'll get the weekly digital edition, online-only articles, curated newsletters on politics, the markets, science, culture and China, and full access to The Economist Podcast Plus. The Economist is independent journalism for independent thinking. Go to economist.com and get your first month free.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Savaged, unfiltered. Your host, Michael Gardner.
Both able to discuss major issues that were coming in Wisconsin and with the whole election integrity. Well, this came out of breaking news because I looked on the assembly calendar, all right, for the Wisconsin State Assembly, and for the first time, there was Branchen. She put out a statement, and I don't know if you want to talk, and like tell your viewers about it, but they're having an emergency assembly meeting regarding voter integrity election. They're having an emergency meeting regarding that. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, my thoughts on it, Sauce, is like, with the emergency hearing that they're apparently going to have, and it's not only going to affect one state. I'm told, this is affecting several states. Yeah. Several states are going to see this major energy problem, because it's an energy problem. That's what I see. It's an energy problem that could be avoidable. It could be fixed. That's my insight on it. So, go ahead.
So, do you think with Branchen or Senator Branchen or Representative Branchen, and the whole thing is that this is in correlation with Robin Vos, and he and I, like Adam Steen and I, were both able to talk really hard about how Robin Vos has failed Wisconsin, and how you're seeing the true colors, even out of the Republican Party. And so what happened was Adam Steen and I discussed heavily on that. And I have listeners in Madison, and I have listeners in the state assembly, and they reached out to me, and they said, "Hey, we want something to happen." And sure enough, Branchen then released a press release stating that they're going to do an emergency election meeting to discuss about the most recent things and see if something can get pushed. That is going to be very interesting, because that's going to mix things up, and it's going to ignite Wisconsin. It's going to put Wisconsin's back in the headlines. Now, this is hot off the press, because it came at 10:32 p.m. last night, and I sent you that screenshot of.
Yeah, we see the screenshot come in, Sauce, and I got to tell you, for and foremost, this Vos character, like he's, not only just in our papers here in Florida, whether I read the Florida Today or, the Orlando Sentinel, in both papers here in Florida, we see that coming across in your politics there in your state of Wisconsin. Vos, man, he's literally setting the state up for failure, Sauce. I mean, literally. If you want to see success in Wisconsin, I say it all the time: vote for better leadership.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
apparently this guy Sauce is not showing that in the state of Wisconsin.
No, and like you said multiple times that Wisconsin is a blue state, and I think this is a pinnacle point where people had enough is enough. And here's another thing that he and I also discussed about. And Adam Steen and I discussed about it as well. And I want to hit heavily on this. He said that we have to get this whole, we touched on the school system, and how stating that the school is all woke and how nothing's being done about that. So he and I discussed about how we need to get involved at your city hall, and we need to get involved in getting involved in attending these assembly meetings, because he told me. He's like, the first time I went to the Capitol and I sat in on a conference and I sat in a hearing, I would never look at it the same. I thought people were working for our best interest, but behind closed doors, they're like night and day difference. And
Yeah, I
so,
mean we're seeing it here too in Florida, Sauce. I mean, we're seeing for the second time on the school board here in the state of Florida, there's literally a battle going back from the former Republican Governor Charlie Crist back in 2009 had the same scenario rolled out here in the state of Florida. To fill a seat. That's what they were doing. They wanted to fill seats. But
Hey, guys, if you're looking for a steak, I know it's hard to find steak, right? You know, a lot of restaurants that just overcooked, undercooked, just not to your taste buds, right? You want that juicy steak. Look no further than Omaha Steak. I love them, guys. Love them. If I didn't love them, why wouldn't I be promoting them on the podcast today? Go over to Omaha Steaks, okay? They are phenomenal, guys. The juiciest steak you'll ever taste in your life, okay? A lot of people are like, well, how does it get delivered to your house? You know, with gnats and bugs going to get into it. And no. It's not, you don't have to worry about all that. It is in a sealed, perishable bag delivered to your house. So you don't have to worry about the gnats and the bugs get into it. It's fresh from the time they ship it from their distribution center to the time it arrives at your house. The juiciest steak you'll ever have in your life, guys. Check them out today. Omaha Steak.
Second time on the school board here in the state of Florida. There's literally a battle going back from the former Republican Governor Charlie Crist back in 2009 had the same scenario rolled out here in the state of Florida. To fill a seat. That's what they were doing. They wanted to fill seats. But when the average Florida citizen resident there, they seen the same shit take place, and they were like, no, this can't take. So we're seeing right now a battle now, fast forward from 2009 to 2022. Charlie Crist, the former governor of Florida, is literally pressing this to the current governor, Ron DeSantis, with this whole ordeal going back to 2009 in the state of Florida. Now, hold on to this here. Listen to this. Now, Tori Alliston, these are like one of the 5 members that recently appointed by the current governor, Ron DeSantis. One happened this past May, and 4 just last week. Accepted the leadership role after the long-serving board members lost a 5-4 vote to elect Lori Alfredif for that role. And she was elected, Sash, for the vice chair. I want to get your insights on this. I'm not sure if you follow Lori at all or the politics here in Florida, but like, what's your insights on that?
I don't really. I would have to get more back context behind it, because I don't want to like go off the whim. I'd rather be informative on it. And so I'm sorry, I can't really state anything on that.
Well, I just mentioned Tori Alliston, right? She was one of the 5 members that was recently appointed by Governor DeSantis. Now, Alliston, who recently stepped down as a county commissioner, she's a former student representative on the school board. The reason that DeSantis appointed Alliston and these other 3 members were because they showed like a statewide presence in the state of Florida. I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't want to kind of take forever discussing that, but I get what you're saying, Sas. The school board up there in of Wisconsin is terrible, and we're seeing the same thing happen here in Florida. With flip flop politics and the school board. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, and here's the whole thing. And you know what's sad about in Wisconsin? I wrote an op-ed, and hopefully the paper comes out today. But in the state of Wisconsin, all right, for you to continue the school lunch program and for you to continue federal funding, you then have to accept the gender teachings and pretty much the gender grooming. You can, and that is, we also mentioned about then how Robin Vos and your Republicans aren't doing anything about that except just sitting on their hands and letting it, letting things just play out and just destroying the school system. And like I said, that the Milwaukee school system, again, is they went right along with it, and how the Milwaukee system voted 6-1 to start teaching kids like gender stuff. And now they're in Madison, they can start at pre-K. And so it's like you're seeing Wisconsin deteriorate at a rapid level, and we see that going on, and it's just really sad. And like, our freedoms are being undermined in Wisconsin, and that's why I wish I could move to Florida, and I wish I visited Florida, but that's okay. I guess we have our own fights to do, and I'm also going to be excited to tell you this is something new for your viewers. Timothy Ramthun he's reached out to me and asked if he can be on my podcast, so stay tuned for further updates. And that's something brand new.
Oh, wow, that's some big stuff, Sauce.
Yeah, because he would like to reach out, like to discuss about the most recent articles that came out regarding the election, because this is in regards of Gableman, who was the lawyer and who was the judge that was looking into the 2020 election and was looking into the voter rolls and was looking into that. Well, Robin Vos fired him and fired his whole team. And so not only that, but then Robin Vos met with Governor Evers, and they had lunch together, and they were like spotted taking pictures and like spotted like playing golf. So you can see that discord and that disconnect with the people.
Yeah, I mean, they're more worried about, going to a private country club, playing golf, and going to, like a Capitol Grill or something, having lunch together. I mean,
but doesn't that show you like the difference? Doesn't that show you like the out of touch reality that our politicians and here's the thing, okay? Wisconsin the other day had the audacity, our state representatives had the audacity to raise their salaries by $20,000. So now they make $179,000 a year.
What?
They have the audacity to do that because Governor Evers passed a $600 million surplus budget bill, and that was exactly what was inside of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so talking about lowering gas prices, and that's why I said, I'm like, Adam, have you noticed any of like the lowering gas prices in Wisconsin? Have you noticed like that $600 million that Governor Evers was supposed to help the Wisconsinites? He's like, absolutely, I have not. Me either. None of us have. Besides,
well, since you're on this gas, topic right now, the Democrats are, they're having a field trip with this right now. They're having a ball with it. They're like, oh yeah, we told you we're going to lower the gas prices and it wasn't going to be always this high and this and that. Come on, folks, wake up. Yeah, what they're doing to us.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, it was our fault. No. What about the $1.79 gas prices? What about like under $2? All right, it is 100% Democrats' fault that they cut the power. They cut Line 5 that goes through Wisconsin. They cut the Keystone Pipeline. It is now they're trying to what they're trying to do is that they're trying to repair the scab and repair the damages they've already caused. The problems that was non-problems and stuff, they made it a problem. And so now they're trying to recover that just because it's election time, and that you're seeing people say, oh, we got your back, and getting rid of F-15s and stuff, which is not a gun. And it's like, it's a very sickening. And that's why we have so many people now stating, the Democrats are doing the right thing. No, they're not. They're manipulating you. They're manipulating.
Well, Sauce, going back to the gun thing, according to Joe Biden, that's actually a gun, an F-15. If you go back to like a few years ago when he says, I'm going to ban the F-15s and, your F-16s and F-45s and, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's sickening.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is. I want to get into a latest poll here, folks, here before we, continue the show here on this whole woke culture crap that's affecting the country. It's a poison. It really is. It's worse than monkeypox and COVID. I mean, literally, it is the poison that's facing this nation. Now, a poll coming out of Zippia.com, Sauce, is saying, and this goes on to the woke states here of America. Hence the title. welcome to the woke states of America, because that's what it's becoming. We're not becoming united anymore, or we're not united anymore. We're actually woke now. People are very divided against each other. They're very they hate each other. I mean, it's terrible. Now, this latest poll, like I said, coming out of Zippia.com, is showing that the most woke state. Now, this might shock a lot of listeners out there. Okay, is Oregon, the state of Oregon, where 9.3% of the population, Sauce, get this, and folks, attended the Black Lives Matter protests, where there was about 956 organic farms. Get that. Now, the least woke state, the most least woke state here in the country is Arkansas. Now, I'm not shocked with Arkansas that I was shocked with Oregon, because I thought Oregon would be like one of the top states that were the most least state to favor wokenism, because there's a lot of conservatism in Oregon, or as much as I've seen it. But Arkansas is very old traditional type of American ways and values. But their poll, Sauce, only came in at about a little less than 1%. It's showing like a 0.7% of the population where they actually attended the Black Lives Matter protests. And the reason why I'm saying organic farms and what it has to do with this is because usually, farms, Sauce, they have like a lot of land and a lot of different ranges and stuff like that, where they can use that land to voice their opinions and, do these type of protests. So that only showed like about 168 organic farms. Now, with all this right here, I mean, are you in shocked, between these both states?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I am surprised about Oregon and California. I would think that California would be number one. And actually, I'm on the website, like on right where we are. Well, guess what? In the top, guess where Wisconsin lies in?
I was just about to go there, Sauce, but go ahead, because also in this group, there's like about 8 other states that are in this group. But go ahead.
Wisconsin. Now, I'm not surprised about Wisconsin, how we're in the top. That's not a good thing, And I'm reading at it, and there's 1,943 organic farms, and then 3.6% of the population is all like that. At least attended a BLM rally.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just. I mean, it's like it's depressing, and it's like, so then it's interesting because it says woke Wisconsin. You may be thinking dubiously. However, people in the Badger State vote more than 47% of other states.
Hey guys, if you're trying to look for an organic product, right, you're getting tired of using the over-counter medication that's filled with chemicals, filled with all those nasty, cancerous ingredients, guys, head over to LiveRishi.com. That's right, guys, LiveRishi.com. What is Live Rishi? It's an organic CBD oil company that uses natural hemp oil in their products, guys. As you can see, I'm out and about right now. You develop a rash from walking in the park, grab that Live Rishi cream with you, rub it on there. I'm telling you what, guys, it's going to work like wonders. It's going to work like wonders. Use promo code SAVAGEDUNFILTERED for 20% off your entire order, guys. And I'm telling you what, that's a great deal. 20% off your entire order. LiveRishi.com. Grab it.
Savaged Unfiltered.
Oklahoma, 1,943 organic farms. I mean, that's just. I mean, it's just really sad. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
And I don't see Florida on it, thank goodness. But.
Well, Florida, I wouldn't expect to see Florida on it, but part of that group, Sauce, is also, Washington, Vermont, like you said, Colorado is another state, California, of course, Minnesota as well, not too far from Wisconsin, Massachusetts. You had mentioned New York, Maine, and then lastly, obviously, we'll repeat it again. Wisconsin is part of that group, that list. Florida,
And before we continue on. So we have so we also have, all right. So in the protests and stuff, Oregon, of course, is actually not leading the way. California is number one with the most protests, 4,439 protests. And they have 5,050 organic farms. And then Wisconsin has 812, which is pretty high. Not going to lie, that's a very high number for being top 10. And then Florida, surprisingly, has 1,823. They must go like which one's like violent protests. I think that's because Florida. I've seen Florida protests and they're pretty peaceful.
Yeah, Florida. You mentioned Florida has like well over 1,000 farms, both organically and manufactured type of farms. Mainly the organic part coming out of Florida is your produce, right? Your oranges, your bananas. These farms, like why wouldn't Black Lives Matter and Antifa target the state of Florida, right? It's a very mixed culture here in the state. A lot of Hispanics and people of that origin, that ethnic group, reside mainly in South Florida. So you would be questioning yourself, like, well, it would make sense for Black Lives Matter and Antifa to protest in the state of Florida. Well, the reason behind that, Sauce, and ladies and gentlemen, is because we actually have a governor that's for and by the people. Huh? Wait, you said Idaho is the least patriotic state?
Yep, according to Business Insider.
Wow, when did they make that shift? I mean, Idaho is, we get everything great from Idaho. We get our potatoes. We get, there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of that state. Wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
That's strange because the patriotism in this state is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally bleed red, white, and blue. No offense.
Oh yeah, it's pouring out of her veins like sweat. I mean, everywhere I go, Sauce, I'm always seeing like a MAGA flag or a "fuck Joe Biden" slogan. Or, I don't see any blue whatsoever coming out of the state of Florida. You might see that like in like liberal blue areas like Orlando and maybe Jacksonville, Florida, but no, a little bit of Miami. Yeah, some very little in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach area. But the other areas, Sauce, they're all conservative Republican. This state favors conservative Republican values. Like I think it's like 75, 80%. It's pretty high.
Yeah.
You said this to me once before. I don't remember seeing a poll that like where he was down in the polls.
I thought I sent you like the polls and like with the most recent it was a video from CNBC.
Oh yeah, you sent me that. I checked it out, but like I'm saying, like I don't remember, or I can't recap of him being low in the polls. Like I mean, because maybe it's different from Wisconsin's media and all that, but here in Florida, man, like he's doing tremendous. Like he's leading in the polls. Like they show that if the general election, the governor's race here was like today, Ron DeSantis will beat his opponent by a landslide because they're looking at Charlie Crist. They're favoring Charlie Crist for the nomination for the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, because the polls that like I watch our nightly news and stuff, and they mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They said the same. They said the same shit back in like 2009. Well, it actually did happen. But wait, fast forward a little bit to recent times. They actually said that like maybe like 2013, 2014, when there was a runoff race, and they said the same thing. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna have a huge blue wave in the state of Florida," and I'm like, nah, dude, that's not going to happen. Like Florida is so red. It's been red for a while. Florida, North and South Carolina, they're leaning red. Look at your map right now. There's like, I think out of 50 states, there's only like maybe 20 or 25 that are actually like blue. So it's like, it's half. It's split right down the middle. There's like 25 right now that are favoring Democrat, and then the other 25 that are actually favoring Republican. So I don't know.
Do you think Wisconsin will shift red, or is it pretty much long gone?
It's not going to shift red. It's going to stay red. I don't think there's going to be a shift, that's going to go to blue. I think
in Wisconsin?
What's that?
In Wisconsin?
Oh, Wisconsin. I'm sorry, Sauce. I thought you were talking about Florida, man. What the hell's my head?
Oh, no.
I got to get another cup of coffee. Bear with me. In Wisconsin, if it's going to shift red?
Yeah. Realistically and honest.
No, I don't see a red wave favoring Wisconsin right now. The only way it can favor red right now to lean Republican is if you guys have some type of miraculous angle message that you're going to gain your voters to stick to that angle. Like if there's who's your top 10, or excuse me, not top 10, but who's your top 5 Republican politicians right now in that state? I know there's several. You got, I don't know if you want to name them, but if those top candidates, that you got local leaders too. You have Adam Steen, you have a few others, if those politicians, if they launch a really smart campaign advertisement right now in the next, say, couple of weeks, and they really target what Wisconsin needs to change, right? You guys could have high levels of crime, low unemployment, this and that. Wisconsin, in order to flip it to red, you guys need to target what's affecting that state. You know what I mean, Sauce? Honestly, I don't see Wisconsin turning red. Sadly,
No.
It's going to be a blue state for a long time. The only way you would see it turn is if you had a candidate, a really MAGA candidate, right? We're going to get into MAGA Republicans here because I got something coming out of the Biden administration that's going to blow the freaking show off the roof here today. But in order to turn that state into a MAGA type of state, right, is if you have a candidate such as Donald Trump that can make a huge impact for the state of Wisconsin. Other than that, I really don't see that state turning red.
No, Tim Michels for governor.
Yeah, but that's you guys. I mean, Tim Michels, man, the machine behind his party, his campaign right now, Sauce, is very weak. I mentioned this on my show once before. I'm really not a big fan of Tim Michels, and a lot of people are like, well, why not, Michael? He's favored and endorsed by President Trump. That may be the case, folks. But the reason why I don't favor is because I've looked at his campaign, Sauce. I've looked at his movement, and he really doesn't really have a lot going for him right now. Unless he really, really digs, hard against the Democratic Party in the state of Wisconsin and really picks things to bury that Democratic machine there in your state. That's the only way he will actually win his race. And that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I've said this once before on the show. I really, the man may have a lot going for him being endorsed by President Trump. And he may be thinking that he's actually doing great for the state. He that might be the case, us. But here's the thing. He has to dig a lot harder for Wisconsin. He has to fight harder. He has to press the envelope harder to literally try to bury this type of Democratic crap that's affecting Wisconsin.
Yeah, because it's not like Florida.
Well, between DeSantis and Tim Michels, there's a huge difference, man. DeSantis is, you got to look at the voice. Look at the voice. See where the strength is. There's a lot of strength coming out of DeSantis. Is there strength coming out of Tim Michels? I mean, I don't see that, Sus.
No.
But I want to get into, there's something. Actually, I was going to talk about the Biden thing, but we're going to save that right after this segment I'm going to get into right now. But before I get into that segment, Sus, I got to get into a quick sponsor here to the show. Tremendous, guys. This is Amazon Telekin. One Touch Computer. Now, a lot of people, are not familiar with this company. The amazing Telekin One Touch Computer. It's smart and it's easy for seniors all over this country. Easy one-touch menu, large fonts, 200% zoom, 100% US support, a large print keyboard, a secured system, no viruses, and for the seniors, I know this they suffer a lot from this, and I'll help them out. Speech to text. That's right, guys. What is speech to text? Well, you talk, it types. Tremendous, guys. Head over to that for amazing products, guys. Telekin One Touch is completely different. If you call 1-800-741-8166, you can get all the information. It's backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee, okay? And there's tremendous reviews to back it. Better Business Bureau, so you know you're getting a quality product. And it's great for the seniors. Back here on the show, guys, we're going to get into this topic here with DeSantis now wanting to ban woke investments that could hurt the state's pension plans all over the state. These are investments that, that have a huge influence with critical race theory. They have a huge impact on that. They basically, in layman's terms, it's almost like conflict of interest, if I want to explain it correctly, where it favors a certain group or a certain entity, so to speak. And when DeSantis is basically what he wants to do, folks, is he wants to ban this, okay? Because what it does is it's eventually going to hurt your pension, okay? Because there's going to be certain type of tax brackets that are going to be coming out of this, right? They're going to be taking out of your weekly, maybe your biweekly paychecks. This could even affect seniors, right, that are on Social Security. So it's a good step that DeSantis is getting into. I just want to get into that quick segment, guys. I thought it was very well addressed, that needed to be addressed here on the show, especially talking about what we're talking about today on the topic here. But Asas, we're going to close it out here soon with this last topic here, and I want to get your insights on this with Biden now blaming, blaming Sas, MAGA Republicans in every little issue that we're facing today. It's all the MAGA Republicans' fault. What's your view on that, man?
Man, I think that's sad. I think that, you can't have enough courage to say, okay, it was my fault. It was my administration's fault that we're in this situation, and that we're in this situation, like we're in this mindset where we're blame deflecting.
Yeah.
It's really sad. And it's like, if you messed up something, like I remember in high school and stuff, if I did something, if I messed up, I would accept the responsibility and say, okay, you know what, that was my bad. I take the responsibility and I'm going to live with the consequences, instead of blame deflecting and saying, okay, it was somebody else, but not me. Clearly, Joe Biden his administration does a great job of blame deflecting and not accepting responsibility, and it's causing consequences.
Yeah. I mean, we got a clip here, guys. We're going to show the clip. Mackenzie, clip number 5, please.
Unfiltered.
No, they're not many real Republicans anymore. By the way, your sitting governor, he's a Republican you can deal with. We disagree. No, I'm serious. But at least he's within the mainstream of the Republican Party. I respect conservative Republicans. I don't respect these MAGA Republicans. And folks, everybody thinks I'm exaggerating when I say this, but they're coming after your Social Security as well. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not joking. Think about this. Think about what they're doing. And it's all there in black and white. He wants to require Congress to vote on the future of Social Security every 5 years. So every 5 years, Congress can vote to change, cut, reduce, or entirely eliminate Social Security. How does that make you feel?
All right, guys. After plugging in the clip, the clip showed basically, obviously, you guys heard the clip here. It's now going after MAGA Republicans, literally saying that it's all their fault. It's all their fault. The reason why we have border problems is it's the MAGA Republicans. The reason why we have high fentanyl overdosing. Okay, SARS overdosing. We're seeing like about 300 cases a day from fentanyl. It's crazy. What is Biden? Oh no, Biden. SARS, get this. Biden wants to blame the MAGA Republicans. It's their fault. Yeah. Get this. Oh, it goes on more, folks, right? Now, right, we have a problem with people not wanting to work. Mm-hmm. Is that Joe Biden's fault, Sus? No. It's MAGA Republicans' fault. It's all MAGA Republicans.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just sad. And it was interesting because I was at an event yesterday where it was an overdose and stuff, and we're asking people, I'm like, okay, we're asking, it was a peaceful protest and it was a peaceful event with a couple hundred people, and I was privileged to speak at it, and I'm like, you know what, we have to have change. Something needs to happen. You know, and then what happened was, you know, this is called, like, once again, the woke agenda. The woke people go after you. And Michael posted it on his page, and it posted on mine as well, where I'm getting some really nasty feedback from it.
Really? Well, yeah. What's the feedback? What's some of the feedback, Sauce?
Well, you want to kind of explain, like, you put that on your page? I don't know if you want to brush up on it.
Oh, yeah. If you want to kick us off with that, that's fine. Or if you want me to start and then you can recap off of it.
Yeah, let's go for it. I'll let you go for it.
Yeah, folks, what Sauce is talking about is there was a tremendous type of and I use those words very loosely, so don't think I'm like favoring this crap, because I'm not in favor of this wokeness in this country. It's a fucking disease. Excuse my language, but it is. This woke agenda that's facing this country is terrible. The one article came out. I didn't post it to Sauce's page, but I was about to. The one I'm going to mention first is where now, okay, and I did post it on TikTok, which I'm getting a lot of feedback on TikTok from this, where I'm sure you heard this, Sauce, where they're getting into chest feeding, right? Where they want to make this word more inclusive, where they don't want to say breastfeeding, they want to say chest feeding.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Sometimes a binary man, a non-binary man, or what we call it, in my days, we call it a transvestite. Now the terminology for it is transgender, right? So I'm not going to say transgender. I'm going to say what they are. They're transvestites. The transvestite can actually feed a child. Oh, yeah. They think a non-binary man, which is a man, they just call it that. That's what they identify themselves as. But a man can now breastfeed a child, which is impossible because they don't have the same milk glands that a female has. I thought that was like this is the mental state of mind here in the country. I seen that, I was like, oh my God, I laughed my ass off. Fast forward, we're going into this topic that I laid off on your social media, Sash. You want to explain a little bit to the listeners what that was?
Yes. So a terrible person, and it makes Jesus cry. And now he's on an attack for talking about this statement that said we need to worry about mental health, and we need to stop drug abuse, and that we need accountability in this day and age.
Well, first and foremost, the gentleman that was commenting back on your statement that you made, is he of Christian faith or spiritual faith at all?
No, he's been like, he was in high school with me and stuff, and he's been against me from day one. He has a grudge against people from Russia. Like, his whole family despises communists, and he would call me a commie all the time. So, like, he has been a thorn at my side, but I've kind of like laid back off of it.
Yeah, so he's like your arch nemesis then basically, you know. If you were Batman, he would be like the
Joker.
evil Superman or something, or Joker, yeah. So yeah, he's been targeting you since high school. Wow. Uh well, what we could do is we can try to educate him, Sauce. We can try to explain to him that what you're doing is for a good cause, and to enlighten people, not to divide people. I think he sees that you're trying to manipulate people or divide people, which is absolutely inaccurate. Sauce is not a person like that. Sauce is very much informative. He always has great resources. He backs his words up with resources. And for somebody to go after you like that, Sauce, I think that's wrong. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it happens like that. And op-eds that we're writing and were written and stuff. I had one individual write to me over email.
Hmm.
And I had one person I was writing. Oh, that's a lot better, not echoey. I had one person that was like wrote to me and stuff, and she was like, she was like, and get this, okay. A couple weeks ago, I wrote an op-ed. We had the County Democratic Party vice chair call me personally and said that I was spreading Nazism and I was spreading white supremacy among our wonderful city of Madison.
What?
And that I was spreading hatred. And so they did a counteract article, and it just pretty much railed me out. And like it just completely called me out, and it was pretty much a I'm insecure paper article.
See, Sauce, this is the crap that I'm talking about on today's show.
Yeah, see?
This is actually the crap that we're seeing, yeah.
And it's interesting because the ironic part is that I'm trying to educate people by stating, hey, this is what we have to be careful of. We have to be aware of this. We can't allow people to just walk all over you, because there's a time, because the only reason I wrote the op-ed was because I wanted to tell people that we are at a point where we're at a breaking point where we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to we're losing our freedoms, and we have to stand up, and enough is enough of sitting back and doing absolutely nothing. And the moment that you do that is when people realize, and you hit a core central. And apparently when you talk about freedoms, that agitates people, because they're so comfortable of not having freedoms, because they're so comfortable stating, oh, I don't need to worry about what's going to happen, because I'm like knit in this nice community, little small community, and some people never leave out the county. So they listen to my podcast. A lot of them listen to CNN and MSNBC. So when they also read the paper, it's a different variety, and it's a different perspective. And apparently it gets people upset if you bring in a different perspective.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to comply with any woke agenda. I'm not going to comply and say, oh, I am so sorry, go and speak about feeling, oh, how sorry I am. No. And the fact that we had a vice chair of the Democratic Party, and then the chair of the Democratic Party, they had an emergency meeting to see if they can censure me from the Republican Party.
Huh.
How about that, huh?
Wow. That's wow. Well, this goes back to an article I put out last week, actually, on Hometown News here, one of the local newspapers here in Florida. And I put an article out on basically, there was two parts. The first part was actually wokeness, right? Where, us normal, I'm going to say normal because we are, some of us are normal, Sauce. There's a lot of normal people out there. We don't favor this poison called wokeness. But I put an article out. I wrote to one of the editors there for Hometown News, and they actually published it. And I was actually pretty proud of myself. The article came out on a national paper in the state of Florida, where I literally addressed wokeness and how it needs to be tackled, how it needs to be addressed, and how we can defeat this poison that's facing our country. And I had several comments come in emails from some people that read that article. And it was a short little article. It was only about maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs. It was actually, if you look it up, Hometown News, and under this section, it's called Rants and Raves. And people, they rant and rave. It's only supposed to be set up for like 4 or 5 paragraphs. They give you like a maximum set of paragraphs you're allowed to write to make room for other writers that would like to write an article on that section. So some of the responses I got back was, continue the great fight, Michael. We listened to you on the show, Savage Unfiltered. We listened to you, Soslin, and Jimmy, and all 3 of you are always on point with a lot of great topics and viewpoints that need to be addressed here in America. So, I got a lot of great responses back, Sauce, but I also, of course, you're going to see like the negatives. I call them the negative vibers that love to write something negative, and which is absolutely not true at all. They were like, "Oh, you're wrong," and wokeness needs to be here in the country to wake up the silent majority. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And it's really, it's and the kind of treatment I'm getting and stuff. The interesting part is that I get this kind of treatment is, once again, it's like what you see in Russia, So I don't know if you heard, but a major Russian general, or a very Russian businessman, supposedly committed suicide, and he jumped out of a hospital window, and he.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and apparently, because he was starting to rant about how bad the country is, and apparently he was leaking out information to say America needs to be aware of this. And so then what happened is that he mysteriously died. And I don't know how you can jump out of a hospital window, because I've seen those windows in the hospitals. They don't open up. There's multiple. So I'm thinking that he was killed, I think.
Yeah, I think he was assassinated. It sounds like the same plot that they did after, for those who remember the mysterious death of Princess Diana.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 90s, where, she was driving in her limo, and all of a sudden the damn limo blew up, and everybody was like wondering, oh, it was a freak of a nature event, like some kind of strange phenomenon that the car just blew up. No, folks, cars just don't blow up. Sometimes there's mechanical failures and stuff like that, but we're talking about like the 90s, where, some of the computer systems in cars then, are a lot different than cars now, so it was, like that, where what happened to, the late Princess Diana. But yeah, I definitely could see that the gentleman there, he was assassinated, he's probably leaking, like you said, he's leaking Russian information, whether it was true or not. Okay. It seems like you're saying it was true. And the Russian Kremlin, which I think was probably behind it, the Kremlin didn't like that, Sauce. We're talking about a communist country. You have a Russian outsider such as this guy leaking information. The Kremlin is going to go after somebody like that. Yeah,
and we also have the Clintons that go after people too.
Yeah.
And so the fact that kind of a style of government doesn't exist. It does exist in America. It exists through this wokeness. It exists through silencing, and exists with people like cutting like resources and stuff, and it exists through all that. And that's why we have to fight against this agenda. We have to fight against, and we have to make it we have to counteract it. And that's why, we can't be nice anymore. We have to stand up on our own 2 feet and just really push on it, and counteract it really hard.
Well, I think niceness went out the window, Sauce, about
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not being nice anymore. There's no more sitting at the round table. I'm sorry.
I don't even think there's a round table anymore. The nicest went out the window 2 years ago. The round table has been moved to another office. That agenda's lost right now. Now we have to take our feet. We have to march. We have to voice our opinions. And damn it, we have to get this country back, Sauce. We have to fight harder like never before. Never before.
Because this country is at a pinnacle point, and this country is about to lose. We're about to lose more freedoms than we expected.
To lose a lot. People don't realize what we're about to lose. I mean, it's literally right there in front of their faces. They need to wake up and stop believing what they see on TV, what they see on this corrupted presidential administration, probably more corrupted than the damn Jimmy Carter or Richard Nixon administration. This is a very corrupted system of a government we see today, and it's only going to get worse unless you folks have the power as the voice of this country. You have the power to change all that.
Yes.
Change it. So as we conclude, go ahead, Sauce.
And not only that, but like I said with Adam Steen, you have it. It's up to you to get off your asses and make change. Get involved. Go to the school board. Show up at your Capitol. Make your voice heard. And I'm sorry, you can. And also, don't forget to go and vote. But I hate to say it, but like at this point, the voting, you can do that, but it's going to allow more than voting. Enough of just sitting around and thinking, oh, we'll get them next time. No, it's time to stand up and go out your front door and actually do a damn thing and make change. Not sit at home on your fucking asses and eat goddamn Twinkies. Sorry,
The Sauce is getting unfiltered. Sauce is showing.
We better stop because I'm getting triggered. Well,
I'm telling you, buddy. But we understand. The viewers understand. They know. It doesn't change Sauce's platform. Sauce is showing his anger. He's upset. He loves this country. He wants to see change, and we get it. The viewers see it. I'm sure Sauce's viewers see it. And here's the thing, guys. As we conclude, in order to make change, you need to start looking at the candidates that are running for this country, what the message they have. Stop looking at somebody that may be a little rough around the edges, like candidates like Donald Trump. He's not the most perfect man in the world. No one is. But Donald Trump didn't get elected because he's rough around the edges. Donald Trump got elected because he spoke for the American people and he tackled the establishment. We need to take this establishment down because that's what's killing our nation every single day. And I want to conclude, guys, and I want to say, the time is now. Okay? Don't think 2 years from now. Think now. Because if you don't think now, there may not be a 2 years from now. If you understand the drift where I'm getting at. Guys, I want to conclude. I want to say thank you for tuning into this much addressed episode that needed to be addressed today. Wokeness in America, it's the true poison. And we are now the woke states of America.
Yep. I couldn't agree more.
You and me too, Sauce. So, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you very much. Remember to hit that like and follow button on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon Music, as well as Alexa, and now on Google Voice. That being said, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one, guys.